Hello, everybody. It is Friday, and that means it is time for another Gaarawarr's Guide to Everything in Idle Champions. I'm Gaarawarr, I think. Some days I wonder, but, today feels like I am. So, hey, thank you for joining us today. My special guest today is not Dylan. No, I do not have a special guest. I don't even have an overlay for a special guest. that would be a whole other thing. So, first things first. Yes, there is a bug in Idle Champions with the new batch today, where enemies that normally flee when you do enough damage for them to make them run away are not fleeing, which is halting some people's progress. But on the upside, it's a great time to bring your pets to Idle Champions because the devs have gotten rid of all the fleas. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, no, I believe they are aware of it, and they will try to fix it as soon as they can. But be patient. So yeah. So I'm just kind of sitting here farming Mad Wizard because I don't really want to run into something where an enemy flees, because we can't really play the game if that happens. But we are here to talk about, if you see down below, today's topics, the Gargoyle and Ulcoria. I was going to attempt the Gargoyle, which is not Ulcoria. Ulcoria is nicknamed the Gargoyle, but the Gargoyle is the mission to unlock Ulcoria in Waterdeep Dragon Heist. You come all the way down here, all the way down into Undermountain, to the bottom below the dragon, into Altar Deep. There is a variant down here called the Gargoyle. This is how you unlock Idle Champion's newest evergreen, Ulcoria Stone Marrow. You just have to complete this mission. We did it on Wednesday. Schedules have changed this week. We did it on Wednesday on stream, and it's pretty straightforward. It's not as difficult as Dragonbait, which makes sense. It's not the second champion you're picking up in the Waterdeep. She's the first, so you should be able to do it pretty easily if you have some decent magic-based champions. But outside that, we will talk a little about Ulcoria. We will let me turn off my automation so it doesn't reset, and we can show off a fully leveled up Ulcoria here shortly. But Ulcoria arrived with Waterdeep Dragon Heist Part 10, I believe it was. So this was the announcement you should have received on Wednesday. If you're just logging in for the first time this week, then you should see this, and then once you close it, well, I'm not all the way down there yet, but like I said, she'll show up way down here. This is my gearless account. I'm working on it. I need to do more variants there, so I think I might pick up Ulcoria before I pick up Dragonbait. Dragonbait's much more difficult, especially on my gearless. Is it all bees? No, I actually haven't seen the bees. I saw the bees yesterday on Dylan's stream. When I was guesting there, I could see it on his screen, but I have not seen bees. But then again, I don't use a lot of magic users that would be launching bees, except, maybe occasionally for Rita. So, yeah. Gargoyle's bugged on level 50. Yeah, I would think so, because the boss you beat, the level 50 boss on the Gargoyle, is one that flees away from you instead of dying. So yeah, so if they get that push out, if they push a patch for that, then we'll run through that. We'll probably do like the one of the Patron variants, probably Mertz. Otherwise, we will chat and answer questions. So if you have questions about the game, or Ulcoria, or the Gargoyle mission itself, fire away. I did actually make, let me hop back over to the other screen. This is, it's kind of cut off. This is, the Reddit, if you haven't been there. There is a guide, a new guide on the first page for my evergreen champion guide for Alcoria, the Dwarf Wizard. It will have all of her information in it, just in case you haven't unlocked her yet, if you want to see what she looks like. All of her upgrades, gear, everything. And then it goes into her variant and how to what it kind of looks like, what the rules are. It gives you the little debuffs and buffs things that they do that work against you. The formation you're looking at, and kind of this is what mine looked like when I was doing it yesterday. And yes, this is not a typo. Or Wednesday. I did actually use Delana to unlock her. And no, she doesn't have an achievement. Womp, womp, womp. So yeah, so that is on the subreddit. You can find that there, or also you can just click the little wiki thing at the top. It'll take you to this page, and you can click on Resources by Gaarawarr, which takes you to this page, which is full of all kinds of guides. Some more recently updated than others. All the champions, all their information, and then new player guides at the top. So check that out. If you're new and you have questions, that can be a good resource as well. There are a lot of other guides linked in the wiki too, so make sure you check them all. A bit off topic, but can you give a brief explanation of how you use silver chests during events? I'm trying to figure out when is the opportune time to use a bunch. So this is kind of strategy for anyone that isn't brand new. So like if you're brand new, you should be opening your silver chest as you get them. Up until the point where you're at like mostly greens and blues and maybe a few purples every now and then, at which point, usually then they're not really getting you new gear, right? At that point, I usually recommend saving them for your first or second run during an event, because what happens is if you push as far as you can in an event, you get to what feels like a wall where you're not really making a lot of money to be able to level up your champions and push further. You can pop open silver chests. Silver chests will give you gold. Gold lets you upgrade your champions, and that lets you push your wall further. So you just get more favor on that first run, which makes your subsequent runs easier. I do that with all my silver chests on either the first, second, or third run. Definitely, it's usually better on the first. It's just sometimes I forget. And then the same with bounty contracts, because bounty contracts give you gold based on a time frame. They also give you event tokens, so dumping all of that on your first run then gives you lots of tokens you can then use to do all the missions in events as well. That's it. That's all I do, basically. It's pretty straightforward. So I save all mine up. We did open a few on stream on Wednesday to gear up Alcoria, but since the last event I'm up to a little over 500. I burned through a bunch of gold chests for Alcoria as well. I think it was less than 50, so it was 40-something chests, and she was fully epicked. And I have my gold Undermountain chest, so if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, make sure you do that, because this is the Undermountain Strike Force weekend, and you will get one of these gold Undermountain chests with gear for Beetle and Grimm, Makos, Minsk, Deacon, and Wolfgar. We'll see what I get. And yeah, duplicates, but small bounty contracts. That's really all I'm looking for most of the time, unless it's a champion I'm missing something on, but I'm not missing anything on Beetle and Grimm, I don't think. Let's see. How do we tell who has a magic attack? Just from the description? Mad Hatter, actually, you can click on their portrait in the UI, and if you come right up here next to their base attack, they have a little icon. This one looks like an arrow or a spear. This is the icon for ranged. If you look down here at ultimate, the sword, this is the one for melee. If we click over to Celeste, this is the one for magic. It looks kind of like a magic missile or something, or a firebolt. This is what tells you that it's a magic base attack. So we've got sword for Benwyn, sword, magic, ranged, melee, melee and ranged, because some champions can have both. So that's where you look. That's where you look. Yeah. Is farming patron currency any different from farming favor in terms of strategy? Yes, because there is only a limited amount of patron currency you can farm per se. There is with patrons, you get currency in two ways. One is by doing their patron variants, which There is a fixed amount available per variant as a reward. And also from running free plays, but each week you only get you can only get 5,000 max from running free plays. And then the other way, again, it kind of fixed. So there's 3. Is doing challenges. Challenges will get you a set amount. The bonus you see on the right here comes from a perk that increases how much patron currency you get from doing challenges, but you have a very limited amount of currency. So it's unlike Favor. Favor, you can just keep running free plays over and over and over and over and over again, infinitely, forever, and continue to generate more favor. You run out eventually. You'll do all the variants. You'll finish all the challenges each week. You'll have done your free plays. No matter what you do after that point, you won't earn any more currency. You have to wait till the next week. So that's why people tend to, every Monday, like clockwork, they start farming their patron challenges to get their currency, because that's, once they're done, they can go do whatever they want for the rest of the week, but they want to make sure they're maximizing all their currency each week. Just got Briv from a time gate. How do you get sprint stacks? So Aiijitsu, basically you have to have Briv in your formation, and he has to be getting attacked. So you're building up steel bone stacks. When you end your run and complete your mission and go to start a new one, all of those steel bone stacks you farmed then get turned into sprint stacks. So you have to have actually used him as a tank first for a mission, completed that mission, and started a new one with him, and now he can then start jumping you forward. So it's a constant thing. You constantly have to make sure that if you want to use him for speed, you've also got to use him to tank. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Data, yeah, we already talked about the bug. They're aware. I just need somebody to let me know when they actually, if they fix it during the stream, so we can start doing a different mission. I did not know that new nodes on a map were hidden before being able to do them. Yeah, all of your quest nodes on a map, like the adventure nodes, they don't show up until you actually do the adventure. Until you've unlocked like previous stuff. They don't just sit there and are available. Like as you complete something in one area, a new area unlocks, and then they draw that in for you. So Dragon Bait's harder. Good to know. I unlocked him just before they released Alcoria. Yeah, Alcoria is pretty straightforward. If you've done Dragon Bait, then Alcoria shouldn't be an issue. Now I say that having a full bench of champions, so I had a lot of options for building out my group. However, I used quite a few core champions, and I think you can do like I think 5 core champions, and then you'll still need 5 event champions to help flesh out your squad. So you do still need certain event champions because there aren't enough core champions that do magic based base attacks for you to flesh out a full group. All the B puns. All the B puns rolling over from yesterday's stream. What would you recommend for time gate? Both new Briv or Dinar? I mean, they're both good. Briv is going to be your tank and your speed champion. Like, he's going to speed up your runs by jumping over stuff like we were just talking about. Dinar is a healer and a buffer, and he's got some CC, like some crowd control. So it's kind of whichever one you're really missing. I think people would probably say Briv, but honestly, you need to kind of decide for yourself what you feel like you need in your group. Would usually recommend Briv though. Briv can also heal. It's just he can only heal by being beaten on, which is a very finicky mechanic in some cases. Joe B, what level is your Modron? I miss catching where yours is at. Ooh, good question. I want to say 9? 8. Coming up on 9. I'm not quite there. I think maybe over the weekend I'll hit that 36k. We're up to 29,827. I like now that they actually added the tooltip. So I'm when you hover over here and not just over here. This is much nicer. So yeah. Coming up on 8. I actually ran off the stream the other day. I tried to do Strahd's Veteran Brigade, and I ended up... you got to get to 475, and I cleared 469, got to 470, couldn't beat 470. So I'm thinking when I hit level 9 since I'll be picking up this all damage, I might have a shot at actually finally beating Veterans Brigade. Because all these multiply. You can see my totals over here. So this should give me a nice damage boost. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, I'll have to wait till 10 when it's I get another one at 10. But yeah, I kind of want to rebuild this whole thing. I don't know if that'll happen today or another day. Who knows? Who knows? But usually I play around with it on Tuesday streams on my channel. Twitch TV/Gaarawarr. I do Idle Chatter on Tuesdays before Bardic Inspiration. Usually in an hour I can fiddle with my time gate, just clear it all out, or my Modron, clear it all out and then rebuild it. I'd like to be able to hook this one up and just get a cleaner flow to maybe try to get this con buff up here, purple, because right now it's just, I mean, it's there, but that's about it. I don't have a lot of experience with issues with the game. The devs typically push out fixes quickly. Namarin, when it's during the week, like it is today, and they're there, and the bug happens because of a patch they just pushed, if it's game breaking, they tend to try to get on it as quickly as possible and fix it as quickly as possible. It's always going to depend on how difficult it is to fix, but yeah. Yeah, so if you're running into an issue where your boss just isn't dying, like it has 0 health, or just regular enemies, because again, it's about, the bug is related to enemies that flee when they've taken certain amounts of damage instead of dying. That's what's going on. You're not going to be able to progress until they fix it. So you can either back out and try something else. Like as you could see, I was farming Mad Wizard just fine. But you know, anything else, and you're going to have to be patient while they fix it. Level 50 boss was attacking familiars instead of champions. That's fantastic. Familiars tanking in 2020. I like it. Is Eldaroon attack bug? Probably, because it's all a variant of the same mission, and that mission has that boss. So if it's a boss, if it's an enemy that flees, it's going to be bugged right now. Miscellaneous question: is the Gearless account a manual challenge you've imposed on yourself, or feature challenge built into the game? It is a chosen challenge. It's called Gearless, but the actual name is Vow of Poverty Challenge, and that was created by Mars, storyteller Mars, who does Mars's Guiding Hand, which used to be on Wednesdays, and now for the next 4 weeks will be on Saturdays. So those of you who, may have some free time on Saturdays, it's going to be from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I keep wanting to go 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., but he's not streaming that long. 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Saturdays, Pacific time, or CNE time, as we used to call it. So check out Mars's Guiding Hand then. But he created the Vow of Poverty account like over a year ago, which basically meant, at the time, it was just basically don't open chests, because, it's supposed to be not having gear. And as more and more features got out of the game, more things got included. So, no supply chests, and now no Modron chests. And yeah, it's a super difficult, super grindy, super, I don't know. I would say some people would say rough and unenjoyable challenge, but it was a neat challenge. It helped me kind of realize that a lot of the guides I'd been making for new players weren't necessarily accurate, because here I am doing an account that doesn't have gear, which feels a lot more like a new player account than, any other account. And I was able to then rearrange like recommended formations and tips on things, and it made me understand the game more. But so that helped. But yeah, it's rough. It's rough. It'll probably get benched after I unlock Dragonbait. I'm hoping to unlock Dragonbait on that, but I don't know that I'll push it much further than that. Let's see. Scrolling through chat, catching up. So if you asked a question, I will get to it. I'm just a little behind. I don't ask them or answer them as they're coming in. I have to take some time to actually answer them. So if it seems like I'm talking about other questions and you don't see where those questions are coming from, it's higher up in the chat. I have to manually scroll up to get them all. Is there a limit to patron currency per run or only per week? For free plays, the limit is per week. It's 5,000. But you only get 2 currency per level. So if you wanted to get that in one run, you'd have to go to level 2,500. You can't get there. You can't. You literally get banned at 1,100. So, so yeah. So you're usually doing multiple runs. Lots of conversation about the bugs. Why are there ruby gems and patron currency? What are rubies used for? I mean, he has ruby coins. These are the patron currency is like for Mert is the Rubin coin, symbol of Vajra, Barovian coin. Ruby gems are like the red gems. That's for specifically for Black Viper. Those only drop if you have Black Viper in your party. And those are specifically collected by her to level up her abilities. That's a whole separate thing. How do you get a lot of gems to unlock your second familiar? Spliffy, just playing the game, if you're brand new, every time you complete an adventure, or like an adventure you haven't done before, or a variant that you haven't done before, you get a gem reward, excuse me. If you've completed all the adventures, which I wouldn't think you've done yet because you haven't bought your second familiar, so it tells me you're a little new. But you know, when people do that, then they do what I'm doing right now to get gems, which is basically you go to Mad Wizard, you put in a party that moves very quickly, so speed champs and has a lot of attackers, and you just run through it as quick as possible and do it over and over and over again. And you earn lots and lots of gems that way. But just as a brand new player, just play through the game. Play the missions. They all reward you with gems. So as long as you're not taking forever on one adventure, you're going to earn them at a pretty good pace. And you should never take too long on one adventure. Like, I've heard people say, oh, I've been working on this adventure for 3 days. And I get anxiety for them. Like, you never stay in something that long. Overnight if you're going to bed, maybe, but if it's taking you that long to get gold to upgrade, you've already hit your wall. Just reset, try it again with more favor. It'll be a lot faster and a lot easier the second time because of how favor increases your gold find, and gold find lets you level up faster, etc., etc. It's a nice little circle. Catching up. Just got my first Modron. What is the best way to use the Modron? Use it for Mad Wizard in the foreground and a variant map unlock in the background. Maelstrom, that's what I do because I think that's the best way to level up the Modron. Because when you first get it, you don't have a lot of pipes to be able to do anything with. And you get pipes and you open up more of those buff nodes by leveling it up. So the fastest way to level it up, since the XP for it comes based off completing levels, like in an adventure, is basically to do this. This is why I farm Mad Wizard repeatedly, is because I can let it automate and reset itself in the foreground and let it just do lots and lots and lots and lots of levels. And then if I were worried about like completing variants and other things, I would have that running in the background. You know, it's going to be slow in the background, but really at that point, my progression, like at this point for me, my progression is based off leveling up my Modron core. So that's my focus and that's what I care about, and everything else is secondary. So it just depends on, you know, what your focus currently is. Cathris or Rosie, who would you recommend for my next champ? Oh, that C-Team duel. Cathris. Cathris is a solid support champ. Rosie isn't the greatest at the moment. Question about the Modron core. The bonuses only apply to the group where the core is, right? Yes. So this group, which has the core slotted, is the one getting all of the bonuses, and also the one getting the automation and everything. This group, if there was one, would be getting nothing because it doesn't have anything slotted there. You know, it's on none. Once you get, you know, once you buy your additional core, like this one, it's the strong core for 500,000 gems, then you could have one in both. But yeah, until then, it's only the one. You only get the buffs on the one that you're doing. And think of it like, you know how there are local blessings and local perks. Think of it like that. It is the buffs that it is giving are local to the party that is using it. It doesn't have globals. Although global buffs from a Modron core could be interesting. How to get the second core? Yeah, you just click right there. I should have read that quicker. You just click on buy additional core, and then if you can afford it, you click purchase. I cannot afford it. I'm working on it. I'm at almost 200,000. Yeah. How are you advancing stages and corpses are piling up on the screen? I don't know what you mean. This is how the game usually works. The bug that has to do with enemies that are unkillable has to do with enemies that flee. This adventure doesn't have any enemies that flee, so they're not going to just sit around and not die. Otherwise, this is just how the game always works. Regis, Paulton, or Neris. They're all pretty solid. A lot of people use Regis. He's a decent buffer, debuffer. Paulton does gold fine and buffs, and Neris is just like kind of straight buffs. Her healing, she does some heals, but I don't know. I don't usually use her for healing, so it's kind of up to you. Look at what you need for either, getting 2 in each slot so that you can unlock multi-party and Modrons, or just look at who you feel might be better for you in the future once you have more gear for them, just in your teams. Gaarawarr, how do you pull your familiars so fast? Is there a keyboard shortcut? The Wanderer, there is. If you hold down F on PC, it lets you then, click directly wherever there's a highlight. You can drop a familiar, and you can pick them up that way too. Because I don't need these all down here. They're all leveled up. I could pull them all off. But then you can place them on here. And if you just hover over the highlighted area, it's going to tell you what a familiar in that slot would do. Which most of these are pretty straightforward. Where you get the big tips are over here. Because three or more, gold gets instantly picked up. 5 or more, the boss sacks get picked up instantly. With 6, distractions that fly, that move through the background get killed automatically. So, yep, that's how you do it. Are there enough influence from variants to unlock all perks and patrons, or do you need to select perks carefully? You'll want to select them carefully to start, but there are currently, with all the content that's been out of the game, enough variants in the game to completely fill out all 3 patrons, and then some. Like, I'm still doing... well, I've got a few here for Mert left to do. It's dropped me down to 97%. Strahd's at 90, and I've got to catch up with all this content they've been dropping. So yeah, there's more than enough now. Let's see. Trying to catch up. We're about halfway through. Halfway through to chat. Free time gate Strix or Benwin? Probably Strix. Yeah. She can be used as a support or a DPS. Benwin is just DPS, and he's okay. David said the fix is done for the bug. Is it in, though? Hold on. We're losing... Oh, it might be. All right, we're going to get real quiet here for a second, folks. Let me switch to a different screen. And we'll come over here and look at this beautiful Waterdeep Dragon Heist map while I restart. Oh. While I restart my client. I can't plumb my Modron to save my life. Well, there is, if you go into the Discord, there is the Modron channel where people discuss that kind of stuff constantly. I definitely recommend heading over there. Also, like I've done it on stream a couple times on this, a little bit on this channel, but mostly on my own channel. And like I said, if we hadn't, if they hadn't fixed this, I probably would have been doing some Modron pipe stuff. But usually I'm more focused on the chat and answering questions, so maybe on a different stream. But if you head by, like on my channel on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. or noon, excuse me, from noon to 1 before Bardic Inspiration, I'll probably be redoing my Modron thing. So let me hop over. We're gonna trust David that this is fixed. I'm gonna activate Mert and hop over to Dragon Heist. So this is the Gargoyle. So for Mert's version, for the regular version, complete area is 400. Mert is 500. So we will see. This is, you know, a harder version of it, and we'll see how that goes. Right away, you get a bunch of abyssal chickens spawning. That comes from this Castellanter's Boon. That's something you'll want to keep an eye on if you play this. Let's see who we got. Oh, I can use Dinar. We'll use Celeste. Let's see if I can use some just basic champions here. I'm using Turiel because Turiel takes the place of a tank. He doesn't have to be the tank himself. I'm probably going to end up using Dinar, though. Jarlaxle is available, even though he's not a magic champion because reasons. Because there's nothing else in that slot for you to use anyway, so they give you somebody. Oh, I'm not going to get a Shara. Let's rock all these. You know, I think I want to do a Farida one. I did Delin it on Wednesday. I think I want to try Farida this time around. She's pretty cool. Used to use her a lot before Bud got introduced. Yeah, we want to do Dark One's Blessing. Let's just go all the damages. We're going to have Tyrell in the back in his Moonbeam form. Vlanya in Spy Network. Although that may mean she has to be here. We'll use Strix as a support, which we were just talking about. And am I full, or are we actually putting Archon in here? Oh, we might actually be putting Archon in here. Well then. Maybe we run Sasaspia and we put Archon as a tank. We're going to use support Strix, so I'm going to go Haunted. No, I'm going to go Poor Hygiene. I don't want to have to deal with dying over and over again. And we'll make Archon a tank. So, you know, this is just me throwing together a random formation, and we'll see what happens. I can change it later. So don't think it's not optimal. It's most likely not optimal at all right now. I never use bulk up, so I'm just going to go usurp, even though he's not necessarily the damage, but who knows, maybe he will be. And here I'm going to go spreading spores, just because that's the easy one not to have to pay attention to. Strix is it. Do you think I'll ever use her over Aver Norden? I mean, I'm using her right now. So, yeah. Although I kind of want... You know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring Alcoria in on Alcoria's own mission. This makes way more sense, folks. So here comes Alcoria, the Gargoyle. If you've been looking at the episode title above me and wondering what the heck that means, Alcoria is a member of the Watchful Order of Magus and Protectors in Waterdeep. And I just love that would shorten up to WOMP. It's fantastic. Alcoria, when you get to her specialization choice actually determines what her ultimate is going to look like. So Shield Guardian is her DPS ultimate. So basically the one that would do all the damages. Basically, the more magic users you have in your formation, the more damage it's going to do, and it will shoot all the lightnings all over the place. We're going to pick that one first because Urchin Pranks is kind of her crowd control one. All her little urchin friends come and help her, and they throw stuff at all the enemies, and it stuns them and knocks them back. And I want to see the damage one. We did the other one on stream the other day, and I want to see what this one looks like. So yeah, if you don't know, go ahead and attempt to patch your client for the fix for the fleeing enemies. Hopefully it's done. Have you completed all patron variants? If not as well. Oh, no, I have not. Yeah, I'm still short a good number. Usually, for the most part, it's the more recent stuff for like Merton Vajra. But I'm behind a bit on Strahd because basically I did him up until I got all his perks, and then I was like, that's not my priority anymore. Is Birdsong any good? She can be. She's not necessarily going to be someone that pushes you the deepest, but she is a good DPS. She's also a good support. I used her a lot when Strahd came out as a patron, as my DPS. Cleared out a lot of stuff with her and Caddy Bree. So, you know, she can be good for you. As always, it's going to depend on your gear and your feats and, you know, what other champions you have. Let's see. Coughing. Once upon a time, Birdsong was the bomb. She was everything you wanted because she could attack super fast and did good damage, and she was just great at chewing through things. But then Bud happened, and base ultimate damage changed how a lot of champions got rated, because then everything became about Bud, not just about your basic attacks. But things are a little better now. They've balanced out a bit, so who knows? Lots of comments about the fixes out. Thanks for letting me know. Will you unlock Ikoria with the gearless account? It's a good measurement to see if Dragon Bait or Ikoria unlock is hard. Oh, Dragon Bait is definitely harder. 100%. I don't even have to attempt it on my gearless account to know that. Dragon Bait is way harder. Ikoria's unlock is more about, do you have these champions? Like, do you have enough decent champions? And yeah, I mean, at a certain point you will. That's the easier part. Then Dragon Bait requires lots of formation management, building a correct formation, understanding how to balance damage and survivability. It's more of the true test of, how well do you know how to play idle champions at this point. So you get banned if you hit 1100? Yeah, Thully, because you're not supposed to be there yet. It's not really supposed to be something that you could get to normally. So if you're getting there, it's through like either a bug of some kind or an odd interaction that wasn't supposed to happen, and so they just nix your account, and then you got to submit a ticket and get your account back. But I think it's like a 3 strikes and you're out rule, because come on, you should know you're not supposed to be that high. So silly question, but whatever. Do you get announcements about your own stream? I do. They pop up. They will pop up on stream here. Yeah, it's not. It comes up in all the clients. They don't have a way to turn it off for specific people. Is there a preferred format for suggestions for the devs, specifically saving new Modron core setups? Turn-based Wombat. If you click on the little question mark here to open up support. I can't remember what information it shows, or I would do it on stream, but they used to show personal information, so I'm not going to do that right now. But they now have a new kind of bug tracker, like public bug tracker, and it also lets you submit feedback there. So I would head over there, and there's specifically one for the Modron beta, and multi-party beta, and then there's one for just general stuff. See if what you're suggesting is already listed. That one specifically, I'm going to guarantee you is. And then they let you just +1 it if you want. But they did talk about, we were talking about with Dylan yesterday, how, people want to be able to save Modron core setups just like you save formations. So they're aware of that suggestion. When or whether we get it or not, who knows. Would Ikoria Urchins help on an Azaka formation? I mean, they would, when the ultimate fires, it would knock people back. If you just want to see what's on, like if you want to see if you have a mimic yet, or how many plagues are on things, they could do that. Outside of that, that would be their only use, though. So, yeah. When should you get a second and third familiar versus buying gold chests as a new player? Dark Secundus, type !GVA. It's a GEMS visual aid, and you will see a resource made by Mars and myself that kind of gives you an idea about how to make decisions about things like that. He broke it down into tiers. He kind of took my recommendations and then broke them down into tiers, like a tier format. So you can figure out what tier of the game you're at and kind of think about it that way. That should help with that one. Are you mad? Rosie's a good substitute for tankless runs. Yes, she is, but there are only a couple tankless runs in the game. Rosie becomes fantastic for one specific variant, and now I can't remember the name of it. It's the strength one or something. Now I can't remember what it's called. Somebody will put it in chat. But basically, you don't have any tinky beefy boys up front, so you use. But there's lots of ranged magical damage enemies, including a beholder. And you put Rosie in the middle of your front line, or in the middle of your group at the front, and she gives everybody around her deflect missile, basically, and that works. In this game, that works both on ranged attacks and magical attacks, so you actually can tank with assistance from Rosie. But it's very much a niche use for her. Is it worth it to farm time gates for favor or only doing variants for chests? I think we talked about this before, and I basically recommend doing a kind of a hybrid. With time gates specifically, not events, just time gates, for every 100 levels that you push in a time gate, unique 100 levels, so the first time you reach 100, and then the first time you reach 200, and so on, you get a silver chest for that champion. So if you want to kind of maximize your gear, you look at how far you could normally push a time gate, and if you could normally get to like 375, then what you want to do is just push to 301, grab that, grab all 3 of those silver chests, and then just focus on the gold chest, making sure you did the variants. That's kind of the best use of your time in that regard, and you do usually end up with a decent amount of favor conversion. It's just that time gates convert at a lower favor rate, like conversion rate, than an event. An event, for every EO1 favor you earn in an event, you get a 10% multiplier. So if you got one EO1 favor in an event, you'd have a 10% multiplier in your main campaign that you get as a bonus. But with a time gate, it's 2.5%. So it's a lot smaller. It's not necessarily something people super worry about, like they really try to push in an event. For Twitch giveaway chests, is it possible to choose specific champion chests? When CNE has their stream, I mean, this is technically a CNE stream, but when the devs have their stream on Thursdays and they do the raffles where they're like, hey, you can have 7 of any chest. Yes, if you win one of those, you get to submit a ticket and choose your chest. It can be specific champions. It can be supply chests, probably. It can be like weekend chests. Like if you know what you want, they're going to hook you up. But for the codes that we give away down here, those are whatever CNE assigns when I submit my request each week. So, is there any way past the bug where bosses will not die? Yeah, you patch your game. They fixed it already. If you don't see a patch, just close out Steam completely and reload, and that usually forces it through. Your Motron's much prettier than mine. It took me a while to figure out how to get the best buffs. Now I look at all your purple pipes and realize I have many runs to go. It took me a while. People will tell you. I mean, we fiddled. That's like the second iteration of it. But it's all about building like these buff boxes, which we'll go look at here again. So like this is a buff box that combines flows. This is a small one. This is a bigger one. It's like this is a 6x2 or 3x2. So it's a 6 box buff, and this is just a 2x2. These ramp up the buff. So even just coming out of this one, I'm at 8. But then when I come out of this one, I'm at 39, right? So that's how you do that. And then I actually removed buff pipes just to make sure I was at least at 4, just to see what I could get away with, like at the lowest. And as it comes down to it, I have like 5 or 6 epics here, a handful of blues, some greens, but most of these pipes are just generic whites. So, you can do quite a lot without having a lot if you get lucky. There is a luck of the draw for Modron pipes, and that is the big pain point there. I should probably speed this up a bit, shouldn't I? Hold on. Let's go. That's better. I'm like, how am I only on 25? All right. We got to get to 500. I need to speed this up a lot. Hold on. There. That should be max 10x speed. Things should fly around. And we should soft cap. Once we get to soft cap, we'll talk more specifically about Alcoria. But the thing you want to pay attention to with her... Oh, that bullet. It went by real fast, but it's super cool. The thing you want to pay attention to specifically on her adventures is these little boons. So this can change on every level, and there's 4 different ones. And they affect you in different ways. So if you're having trouble, pay attention to what this is. They're not going to apply on a boss level, which is what makes this a lot easier than Dragon Bait, in part because you don't have to worry about those crazy features when you're actually fighting the bosses. Is access to the stuff in the patron shops based on your current patron favor or your total earned favor? Bearclaw McGraw, it is your total earned favor. So, as you can see, and it's not favor, it's influence. I catch myself with that every now and then, but we got to make sure we're talking about the right things. So, influence is what patrons have. Favor is what you get from grinding campaigns, and they are very different. So, influence is limited per patron. You build that up by doing their variants. That unlocks your ability to buy things in the shop, and once you've unlocked that ability in the shop, you'll always have it. But if you spending stuff here, it doesn't matter. Like, see, I've spent EO7 of this. I don't have much left. It doesn't matter. Everything's still unlocked in the shop because it's all about the totals. All right, let's see. Can you explain the new adventure parties option if you have a chance? Nubel76. So I'm assuming you mean this. So this is multi-party mode. This is still in beta on the platforms it's available on. I don't know that it's on Switch yet. Once you unlock it, which requires doing a variant called, or an adventure called Split the Party, which is very difficult because not very difficult. It is difficult because you don't get any favor for it, and you don't earn any favor for it. You just have to go in, and it's got its restrictions, and you have to complete it. Once you complete it, you unlock this second party. So then you can put out, one adventure like I'm doing here, and then if we wanted, we could just say switch. I can switch over to my other party. It's going to load that screen up. And then I can pick whatever I want. Like, as you can see, it's on Vajra, whereas we were on Mert on that other one. But I could just go nothing, and I could come over here, and I could start a Mad Wizard run. Just for fun. For funsies. And, there's a lot of champions that I'm not currently using in my other formation, and I could just put them over here and level up like this, and it's just going to run this in the background. Right now, it's running this other adventure in the background. See, it says it's calculating. It's trying to figure out where it's gotten to while we've been away. But it does work kind of off the offline progress, so that's one area per minute. So if you're doing speed champions, you want them in your active formation and not your background formation. So even though normally I would want to run Mad Wizard with Deacon in my foreground, right now we're going to be focusing more on the Gargoyle, so we'll just let that function in the background. And totally fine. That's kind of how it works in a nutshell. The multi-party mode is pretty straightforward. It's basically just, hey, you get to build another party out of whoever's left down here. Now, if you see, now it recognizes that he is in a different party. If he was allowed here, I could click this and I could pull him into this party, but it then pulls him out of that other one. You can't have him in two places at once. Same with familiars. See, now I'm out of familiars over here. It's because I put them into that other party. Does Olkoria make a gym DPS formation better than Zorbu? Ooh, I don't know if that's something that would happen on its own. But what it could do is make a gym DPS formation more viable than it was before. Gym DPS, people use gym DPS a lot, as it is. Because it can, you don't have to have the highest level DPS to complete the content in the game. So a lot of people use, whatever their fun DPS and that they enjoy, and Jim is a valid, viable DPS. He just may not spike you as high as Zorbu, and you can always then save Zorbu just for those super hard ones. But Olkoria is going to get you closer to there, and we'll talk a little more about that in a bit once we get her all the way up to her cap, and we'll talk about what really makes her great. What really makes her buff everyone really well. She is a support, and what you want to look for and how you want to build that. We've kind of done that here with. We're only missing two magic-based champions in this whole setup, so that means we have eight people that are getting her spellcaster school buff, and also that are triggering bonuses from spellcaster school, and we'll go into what that means here in a little bit. But that's basically you want to use her in all magic or as close to all magic formations as possible. And while we don't have a tank currently that is a magic damage tank, in that their base attack is magic damage, Dylan kind of said yesterday that he believes that our next upcoming champion event champion, which is a Goblin Artificer, is potentially a magic damage tank. Now, things could change between now and when they release, but I've got my fingers crossed, because that'd be cool. We've been wanting one of those for a while. Spurt or Turiel? Well, it depends. Spurt's probably the better general buffer. Turiel is great for multi-tank front lines where you really only have one really good tank and you just want to put everything on that tank, because Turiel kind of redirects them to your other tank. And he's good in Avernus because he doesn't like fiends. So figure out how niche you want to get. Oh boy, you do make it sound unfun for Dragon Bait. It's not unfun. It's probably one of the most fun times I've had was unlocking Dragon Bait. And still, even now, trying to do the variant, like the Patron variants versions, because it's the biggest challenge. Like, I like being super challenged and having to really get into like the super minute details of how each champion works and figure out like a better combination for them, because a lot of times you just kind of steamroll through stuff, or it's super easy and you don't really have to worry too much about how great your formation is. So when you have those moments where it's like, okay, yes, this is truly about building a formation and knowing all the champions in and out and building that combination, that to me is like kind of the funnest time I can have in the game. Do you know why the characters level at different rates? Why soft cap varies from level 2000 to 400? I mean, that's just the design choice for the champions. That's really all it comes down to. So some champions are going to have a certain amount of upgrades, and those upgrades are based, there's going to be a combination of a power, probably there's an Excel spreadsheet, and there's graphs that have some combination of a power curve and a gold cost curve, and they're mapping everything out all along through those to make sure that they're, you know, somewhat balanced, but, you know, with different power curves and things. And, you know, instead of just everybody going, well, level 1 they get this, and level 2 they get this, and level 3 they get this, they've made adjustments to how that works. In slot 2, I only have Celeste. Which event champion would you suggest next for that slot? I think Dinar. I'm a huge fan of Dinar. Like I said, some people like Regis. People were talking about Regis versus Dinar earlier. Regis has a healing tag, but I don't really... He's not what to me is a reliable healer. Dinar is a much more reliable healer. Regis can be a debuffer and a buffer, and that can help a lot. Dinar has buffs and also crowd control. So, but I like Dinar a lot, and I'll probably end up swapping to him at some point here. We'll see. We'll see. But either way, I mean, you're not going to go wrong with either one of those picks. They're pretty good. What must be done to get Ikoria? Well, we're doing it right now. Well, I'm doing the Gargoyle. Oh, I guess we died. I'm doing the Gargoyle. But we will... I have already unlocked Ikoria. She's down here. But the Gargoyle is an adventure. It is a variant. Excuse me. It is a variant of an adventure in Waterdeep Dragon Heist, all the way at the bottom of the map. You have to complete Alter Deep, and then you have to, and then it unlocks these. To do this one, you have to have completed 45 adventures in Waterdeep. Adventures are variants, so you have to have completed most of it. Yeah, that's what happens. I'm getting to the point where everybody spam GVA. I appreciate it. That is what happens when everyone hits it, though. Who would win in a fight, Rosie or Ikoria? Ooh. I mean, it depends. Like, Rosie is actually an assassin and a high-level monk, but Ikoria is also an archmage, right? So, who gets the drop on who? And is it the Rosie like in the game that can use deflect missile to get rid of magic attacks? Because then it's Rosie. But in an actual D&D game with their rules, might be Ikoria if she's got like hold person or something, right? Like, I don't know. Variant might be Feigned Weakness. Yes, Feigned Weakness is the variant where Rosie becomes your best friend, the bestest of friends for helping you survive that. Hey Gaarawarr, you might play D&D yourself. Want to speak about one character you played? Ooh, cutting me to the core. Yeah, somebody already told you that I have famously or infamously, I have not played D&D yet. I've played the video games since forever. I've read the books since forever. I've got back there like all the Dritz books except for the most recent one. starting with, like the 80s version of the Crystal Shard. And I watch all the streams, and I play this game. I like it a lot, but I grew up in the middle of nowhere, like with people, maybe having like friends that I knew like 10-15 minutes away, but that's by car, and I didn't have a car, so and in some cases like a half an hour away, so that was just never a thing. And now it's easier with the internet, but it just hasn't happened yet. We'll see one day. You get pipe chests 1 per level up and 3 from patrons per week. Am I missing any sources for free play? Nope, that's it. Unless they, give them away with, I think there's been a chest code for one from a stream, potentially. So, that would be the other way you would get them for free. What's a better feat for my DPS? 25% damage or 25% gold? It depends. Have you hit your soft cap or not yet? In that case, 25% gold might help. If you have, then 25% damage is going to be better, because then gold won't do you any good. So either or. Is there another way to get the weekend event chests instead of buy them in the shop and the one from the newsletter? Oh, those are the two ways. You get one for free. They give you a little taste. They give you a taste for free. And then you got to buy them. A little tip: you get one for free, and then the pity timer is at 4 on any new chest you've never received before, and then the smallest pack in the store is a 3-pack. So guess what? You're guaranteed an epic by getting the 1 newsletter chest and then buying the 3-pack. They get you good there. But yeah, that's it. For a time gate, who would you get, assuming you don't have either, Sasaspi or Stokey? Ooh. Stokey's pretty cool. People like her key explosion. Sasaspi is a little more of a niche debuffer and healer, but she can be good too. So Stokey's probably the better for just if you don't want to deal with really intricate understanding of how her buffs and debuffs work and maximize. She's going to be more steady of a buffer too, whereas Sasaspia can be swingy. And yes, I'm getting the notice that auto progress is off. Yeah, I think that was from when I switched over to, and it was in the background. Chef Sasha? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Can someone tell me where I get Alcoria? I mean, I can. It's from this mission, the Gargoyle in Waterdeep Dragon Heist. It's at the very end of the campaign. And if you want more information, you can head over to the subreddit, where there is, if I switch over here real quick, there is a post there titled this on the front page of the subreddit: Evergreen Champion Guide, Alcoria the Dwarf Wizard. And at the bottom, it tells you exactly about all the stuff about her variant, the things you need to know, where it is, how to do it, yada, yada, yada. That went up last night, since there was no Critical Role last night, so I had free time, something I don't have a lot of lately, to actually finish a guide. Amazing! Make Nova a real magic tank. I mean, Nova does what she's supposed to do. She's got a Hexblade, and they smack with their blade, unless they're sitting back casting spells, and in this version, that's not what she's doing. So, is Grom in Swamp Spec some sort of option as an Alcoria tank? At least she is the most tanky of all magic damage champs, even in that. So she won't be available to unlock Alcoria, but once you have Alcoria, if you put her into Swamp Spec, that is her DPS spec. But the interesting thing about Gromma is that no matter what spec you put her in, she still gets all of her health upgrades. She just doesn't get her, like, all the necessarily tanky upgrades that she would normally get, like if she were in her mountain spec. So you could do that, but I wouldn't rely on her too much to be super tanky. She will have health, but she does not have all of the things that beyond health that make tanks do real well up front. Who's the old man character next to Strix? That's not an old man. That's all Coria Stone Marrow. Unless you're referring to the old tiefling, and that's Makos. This is Olkoria, our newest evergreen champion. Slot 10. Hey, see, look, there's the pop-ups. Hey, we're in the second half. Oh, we are. What do you know? Honestly, it'd be quicker if CNA Games texted. On my phone, yeah, probably. But they don't have my phone number. Oh, they might have my phone number. But that's if I paid attention to that. The problem with notifying me is some people try to message me on Twitch, but I don't have Twitch up. I've got chat up, and I've got my broadcasting program up. And then my broadcasting program mutes Discord, so there's really no way to ping me. And yeah, I see somebody saying hello to Sasha. I believe it is Sasha behind the CNE Games account, usually. Usually for this show, unless somebody tells me differently, and a lot of times they just don't tell me at all. But I assume it's Sasha, always. Gar, could you please check if your Nayeli has Calliope shield as high as what she's supposed to give? I mean, we can look. So my Song of Protection would give 1.36 EO5 temporary hit points. However, that's going to be capped to 200% of Nayeli's health. So yeah, currently it's a bigger shield. 2.4 EO5. It looks like I'm getting more. I didn't fire off her ult. So it looks a little high. Looks a little high. I'm not going to complain about that, but I should probably submit a ticket. Catching up through chat. Lots of good conversations. Just not directed at me. So if you do have a question, throw it in chat. I am almost caught up, I believe, which, you know, is nice. This is, sometimes we get super busy. I think there's like 500 people in here, so there are a lot of people. If you do have questions, don't be afraid to ask. Can we just be a good healer with knockback? So here's the thing. That is kind of how you trigger his heal, is he only heals the first time you get attacked, which is super counterintuitive, because if it's when you first get attacked, you haven't taken any damage yet. So you have to break those attacks. On a boss, it can be fairly easy to do by pushing that single boss back. However, if you have 100 enemies on you, pushing all of them back, there are only a couple champions that can pull all of them away, or push all of them away. So you would have to have either like Dinar in his AoE pushback thing, and then that only works occasionally, or you'd have to have, like, I think Warden has a pull, Ashara has a push. It's very niche. So, you know, if you want a more reliable healer, you go with somebody else. I really only put Regis in if I want solid debuffs and buffs. How can you find how many variants you've run in Waterdeep? Well, if you go to the Gargoyle and you click on it, it will tell you. So it'll say you need 45, and then it'll say completed and whatever number you've completed. I think I had 52 completed when I hit there, and I had everything done. So if you finished everything, you're fine. If you haven't, you know, you may need to do a few. I think I saw CNE Chris post on Twitter, and I think he was at like only 32 done. He's like, oh, I guess I better catch up. He's too busy making all the content. He can't always necessarily play it all after it comes out. Let's see. I missed the answer, but is the Elder Rune adventure bugged out? I mean, it was earlier. All adventures that had characters or enemies that flee were bugged. That has been fixed. Patch your client. Should be fine. If there's a bug other than that, then you're going to have to be more specific. But the one where enemies just, you get to 0 HP but don't go away, that was an issue with them fleeing, with the flee mechanic, and it should be done now. Would you use Dadius with Olkoria and her magic user build? Nobody ever mentions that champion. You could. Where is he anyway? Nobody ever mentions him because He's in a slot with other solid users. So, or other solid characters. Usually in this slot, you're running Briv or Calliope or Keelik as a healer. You can use Dadius. There are a lot of people that have been running Dadius with gym formations. So it's gonna depend again on your gear and how you're gonna set up your formation and what you need in it. Like, he is just kind of a straight buffer if you're using him as a buffer. Keelik can buff and heal. Calliope can buff and shield. So, you know, of the magic users, like for me, my Calliope usually ends up topping the charts. You know, and here I'm using Calliope to shield primarily Naeli, because then Archon will just usurp that shield. So if you think Naeli's shield was big, Archon's is like 9005 because he's just taking it away from Naeli. So there's going to be different ways to do things. And I still don't know if this is optimal, but I'm not going to worry about that until we actually hit a wall. If I can cruise through all the way through completion with a non-optimal formation, then why do I need to mess with it? My time gates has Barrow and Shandy and Spurt. Shandy. Yeah. Shandy. And it's not, she is a great buffer, but it's not just because she's a great buffer. It's because she's a great speed champion. So she can just flat speed up the game like a speed potion does. So you put her in when you start your run. She helps you get all the way to your, kind of a slowdown area, and then you put Crawl in to push you through to your wall. She just helps you get there super fast. And unless you're down support champions and you really need Spurt, which would be the choice over Barrowin, then Shandy, yeah. Cathris or Dinar, kind of either one. Cathris is a great buffer, but he wants to be far away from your DPS, which can be a good thing because there are a lot of other great buffers that want to be adjacent, so it's nice to have that fix. Dinar wants to be either in front of or in the same column with your DPS as a buffer, and also heals and does the crowd control we've been talking about. So, whereas Cathris is just buffing and damage. Question: why does CNE never pick Dragon Bait? I don't know. Dragon Bait, still no Golden Epic. Dragon Bait, still no Pancake on Griddle Champions. I don't know what to tell you. I'd use him if they'd let me here, but, maybe it's not calculating the bonus from Watchful Order on her formations buff. I don't know. I haven't even gone over to look at her buffs yet. I was waiting to look at her stuff to see if, once we get her soft cap, so you can see what she looks like all the way live, and we'll get there shortly. Probably 250, but in the 250 to 300 range on levels, and we'll be capped out. Yeah, Nocturne, you keep messaging me, but we've already addressed the question multiple times, and so has chat. So you tried an hour ago, but the fix just came through not too long ago. So again, patch your client, force it to patch, shut Steam down completely. If it's not working, then submit a ticket. I don't know what else to tell you there. If you have specific support questions or questions about how support things work or things not working in the game, I'm not Sean. Sean's Griddle Champions in the mornings on Friday. He would be able to help those better than I am. I can answer questions about how to play the game. If I happen to know support questions, I will do my best, but I do not work directly for Idle Champions. I'm not like an employee of Codename Entertainment. Anyone know how many variants are around now? Over 140. I don't know exactly, but it's over 140 now. Total. Probably 140, 150 in that range. Let's see. I see questions, but they're not directed at me, so I think we're caught up. Amazing. Is there one platform you prefer all the others? Seems like Steam from discussion so far. Steam gets stuff first, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's better, because that also means you get the bugs first. Steam is just where the game started and originated on, and then it propagated out to like WebGL stuff and then into platforms. And yeah, so a lot of us that have been around a long time have Steam accounts because that was just the only way you could play. Do I have the second Modron core? No, I do not. My core is currently 8. I think we looked at it earlier. So yeah. That's it. That's it. All right, let's see here. We are catching up. Let's see. We have the DLC retirement sales that have been going on for a while. This one's super tempting, folks. $5 for Red Dragon Deacon and a shiny. Do I have... Hold on. Let me see. What's my Deacon look like? I mean, he's got room for another shiny. I mean, to 50-50, I think it would... Even if it ended up on his cooldown reduction, that would be fine because it's not capped yet. So, yeah, might have to do that one. What else, though? Do I have the other packs? Oh, no. Champion Makos is for sale. I'm not sure what else was this week. I probably already own it in terms of the sales. I don't know. I mean, that comes with a Potion of Polish, but a Potion of Polish can go anywhere, which is a good thing or a bad thing. So, take that accordingly. And then this weekend's thing is the Sword of Redemption, Golden Epic, for Beetle and Grimm. If you're into chests and buying them and sporting the game, do it, Gar. You know you want to. I mean, I might. I'm just not on stream. Got Ayla through the time gate. How should I spec her to best maximize her shielding storm gains when she's taking? I go the left spec. That basically speeds up how often she can energize people or electrify them, whatever it's called. Which basically means everyone will always be electric all the time. And, you know, and then so whenever she sets that off, it should just max it out. I've never really done the stun one. Occasionally, but only if I didn't really need... I didn't feel like I needed the shield. So, yeah. Should Avon always prioritize DPS over the amount of aligned characters? I think so, but others might disagree. Usually I find that I have enough people... Usually find that I have like 5 or 6 that are aligned with whoever my DPS is, but it's going to depend on who your DPS is. But I like to make sure that he's right next to the DPS and surrounded by the other people that would do that, because Avon likes to not only put mirrors out on people, he also likes to be... He can also buff that by, you know, how many mirrored people are around him. So I try to keep everybody grouped up when I'm using Avon. But yeah, you kind of want him buffing your DPS as the primary, and then hopefully your formation is built in such a way that he can maximize that with the people around him as well. How do you have the familiars jumping under your tune cards? I just placed them there. Yeah. So, you know, you can open it up. You can drag it down here and just drop it. Or you can do like what I did and just hold F if you're on PC and just place it there. And what they'll do is they'll level up based whenever they have the gold based off whatever I've chosen here. I have it set to upgrade. So it's only gonna upgrade them when there's gold enough to upgrade them. I can take this one off of click damage now, because the general rule of thumb here is whatever level your click damage at is kind of whatever level you can get to. You can get a little further, but going forward, you know, we'll rely on actual damage. Or I can just come over here and pop some fire breath potions, which is probably smarter. That pushed me over the edge, geez, just because I used Avon wrong. I mean, you got to learn, right? I learn constantly, especially with the newer champions. Like if it's a champion that I haven't had before, which is usually just the new champions, or if I've just forgotten because I haven't used them in so long, sometimes, you know, I have to re-educate myself, or someone has to educate me about it. But yeah, it's going to happen. There's over 60 champions in the game now. We're probably getting closer to 70 every time another one comes out, obviously. So, you know, it's a lot to remember. And yeah, Discord's a great tool for learning the game. That in combination with Reddit, and you're pretty good. Streams help a lot too, but if you have to pick two, Discord and Reddit are pretty solid. I like streams, but but streams are fleeting, and then you've got to catch VODs, and it's a little harder to necessarily find specific information, whereas the Discord and the Reddit are great for that. Do you think it would be nice to have more champion levels? You almost maxed out already at level 2. Oh, you mean like raise the soft cap? Not yet. They basically just raised our soft cap with the Modron in terms of, if you think about power, because usually you just want to raise the soft cap on champions to increase the power and go deeper. Modrons just did that by, a good chunk. So I don't think we'll get a soft cap upgrade anytime soon. I honestly don't think we'd get another one this year. But who knows? They could prove me wrong. Does CNE ever cross-promote with other D&D products like modules or other media? I mean, all of these chess codes are them kind of cross-promoting with other D&D type streams and stuff, like streams and podcasts. They tend to stick with the Forgotten Realms in terms of what they're like what they're doing in the game, but they've also, they do things with other companies sometimes. Like they did stuff with WizKids to do promotions. There's a Nielli skin. Is it this one? Is it Champion Nielli that we got out of the WizKids boxes? Has to be, because it's the only one I have. So, like, they did the thing with WizKids where there was a code in all of their little box bundles that they get, that you're like the blind boxes. And that was the only way to get that. So, they do cross promotions, but I'm not sure specifically what you're looking for. I don't know that they would do it with anything that isn't D&D specific, though. Choice for the time gate is easy. I have Havilar and Ishii, don't have Dinar. Yeah. Well, pick up Dinar. He's pretty good. Okay, we're hitting the soft cap. So yeah, around 300. It's always dependent on how much favor I have. And in Waterdeep, I have E31. So around 300, I'm soft capping. So for those of you who haven't seen it yet, soft cap is when it goes from having like one of these symbols, like a sword over here, to just having this circle and a line through it. That means there are no more upgrades. There isn't any more power to gain from upgrades specifically. So you don't need to put anything in them after that. The one exception to that is with your primary DPS, you can over-level it by then switching over to one of these other options, and then just dumping lots of gold in it. Like I could put another 30 levels into Farida. She's going to get a little bit of a damage boost, like pretty small. One of the other things you can do is if you put it on 1 and you're tanking and you're taking a lot of damage, you can then just put one level at a time in, and it gives them a little bit of a health boost, just kind of a heal. It's a minor one, and you need to put a few levels in to heal fully if they're almost dead, and they have a lot of health. But those are kind of the tricks for once you're here. We're fine though. We're fine. How are you? Okay, so hold on. I need to look at my formation a little bit. I need to remember, I believe, Vlanya, Umvarar, hers buffs the whole, all in the same column, so she just needs to be in the column. Celeste needs to be adjacent. What I really want to know is, I think Sisaspia is within 2. Where's the buff? Companions go to the forward. Yeah, within 2 slots of herself, so that's great. And the healing is within 2 slots, so that's fine. Yeah, if I leave Farida here, that's fine. But I was thinking of doing this, in which case I would want to do this. Then I'm not really shielding Nielli often, except with my ult, but I think I want that trade-off, because I'm giving then the healing. Here's how Archon wants to usurp all the things. So I'm then giving healing to Nielli. Oh, actually, I want to do this. We can do this. Something like this. I could have done it the other way, but I'm liking this. So Archon then now is going to be able to usurp a shield off Nielli and usurp a heal off Farida. Ooh, no, I want this around. Usurp a heal off Vlanya. And I actually want Archon usurping Farida's... did we bug? Hellish Rebuke, potentially. Oh, yeah, had a little bit of bug. All right. So basically, Farida has a Hellish Rebuke that I'm hoping Archon is usurping. Let's see. Let's see here. Incoming effects. Yeah, Hellish Rebuke. Applied at a much higher rate. That's what I want. So Archon's going to do lots of damages. Is he setting Bud? Oh, yeah, he is. So even though Farida is our DPS, Archon's the one setting Bud. He's in the E143s. Oh, how is Vlanya at E145? Oh, never mind. She's setting Bud. Oh, Vlanya's witch slapping people to death. Oh, it's because I don't have... Yeah, I've got to put this back. This is annoying. Because this is going to be how I want that damage. So, yeah. All right. I get finicky, but I really want Farida doing the DPS, and I was hoping Archon was going to usurp enough, but I don't think I can put him in a place where he can really do it right. Not with Celeste. So what I'll actually do... Because Celeste buffs everybody adjacent, whereas Dinar only buffs his row and back. So now Archon will be able to usurp Dinar's buff. I don't have to worry about the placement as much. That's better. So Archon's usurping a bunch of buffs. This isn't really a great usurp formation, but I'm just testing it out. Everybody else can be wherever they want to be, and Alcoria is kind of our focus for this stream. Can be anywhere she wants. She doesn't have any kind of requirements for her placement. So she's got her magic missile attack, which, you know, as a support isn't really what matters, but she can get actually more missiles, so she can help against those segmented health bosses, which are the ones where you see lots of the little ticks of damage, but you don't see a little armor shield. And if you hover over them, they'll say their health is like 50 instead of something EO whatever. So she'll help because all of her magic missiles will take off one of those chunks. Just returned, is this Mert? Yeah, this is Mert's version, because I did the other one before, so. Let me see if I missed anything. A choice between Regis, Korth, and Evelyn. Probably Regis or Korth, depending on which one you want an extra slot for. Oh, unless you need extra levels to open up a second feat slot. Yeah, some champions, and it just depends on the champion. Alcoria is one of them. You have to go beyond her soft cap to get her second feat slot. That's how you get there. You just basically switch from upgrade to 100 and then level it up. Wolfgar, Rosie, or Jaheira? Ooh. Probably Jaheira, because Wolfgar is coming in a couple weeks with Bright Swords. So I would say grab Jaheira. Do you recommend going all in on one campaign until it's maxed, or play whatever? Events excluded. Phoenix Beard, I recommend doing enough in each campaign to get you this first global buff. So if you're on like PC and stuff, it's over here on the right. On some platforms, it'll be the last one at the bottom. But these apply only to whatever campaign you're in, whereas these, it says overall campaigns, apply everywhere. So all the campaigns have a double damage buff like this. So grab at least the Torm, the Kelemvor, and the Helm. So Grand Tour, Tomb, and Waterdeep. Avernus you could probably lay off. It's super hard to get this early on. So once you've got those, then you can kind of pick where you want to go. A lot of people do Kelemvor next if they're going to go all in on, because Kelemvor has Azaka, who is fantastic for favor. And it's really a pretty easy campaign to push through. So yeah, that's kind of how it works. I know we're losing buffs on people, folks. It's just going to happen. But yeah, we have moved it back. So Sasaspia is now buffing Farida, who should now be setting Bud. Yeah, I was just really focused on Archon, and I wasn't paying attention to who was actually my DPS was. Can Archon usurp Vlanya if she goes on through it? He can usurp Vlanya right now, I believe. Hold on. This is the thing, I don't use her a whole lot, so give me a second. Increase the damage ships. Oh, ahead of Vlanya. Oh. Yeah, I would have to move her back. I would have to swap her here. Now he can usurp that. I get so used to just reading Spine Network, it is the same row, but it does ahead and same. if you choose Spy Network. So yeah, that's probably better. I still don't think he's going to beat Farida with these champions, and I'm not changing these champions. So I saw on Reddit that Archon used to be a top tier DPS. How did that work? His usurp seems way too restricted. Back when Archon was a top tier DPS, I don't think he had usurp. Like super early on in year 1 is the last time I remember him being considered top tier DPS. People may have called him a top tier DPS after that with usurp, but only if they had really good gear for him. So there may have been a time where people referred to him as top tier. I don't know that we had tier lists back then. I never really used him that much because you really had to have, if you're going to use an Archon usurp formation, you have to have this item, and probably gold and lots of levels. Mine's 1,000, and I still don't necessarily use him for this, but you need that buff to the usurp, or else it just doesn't work. I think I remember you said we hoped you would get filtering for pipes when it first came out. If that was you, thank you for AutoChamps taking the suggestions. Filtering is making me do my motor overhaul real easy. Lots of people suggested filtering pipes. So yeah, that was one thing they've added. That was a surprise. I don't use it as much as I should, but it is super handy. Now, once we get like a save formation and a clear button together, they kind of have to show up at the same time. It'll be even better. Thanks for all the time you spend doing these live streams. Truly appreciate it. Oh, don't thank me. I mean, I appreciate being here and I like doing it. So, thanks for thanking me. But thank Codename Entertainment. They're the ones who make this stream happen every week. Without them, I wouldn't be here. I mean, I might. I was doing them on my own channel before, but I much more enjoy coming over here and hanging out with everybody officially. It's super fun. So in events, what you do first, free to play or the variants? Oh, in events or in a time gate? It kind of depends. Like in a time gate, just do the adventures. But in events... So in events, I treat the first unlock mission for the champion as a deep push, as a free play, because there are no restrictions on it. And then what you want to do is look and see after you've completed that, like, can you do the others? If you can do them all, each of those initial unlock missions should be the first things that you do, and use them all as a deep run. Make as much money as you can get off that. And then hopefully by then, at least one of the variants should show as green, which means easy, which means it's probably okay to attempt it at that point. Otherwise, then you just dive into free plays until they show as green and easy. But you shouldn't do a variant until it shows as green or easy. So it just depends. What about switching Niali and Archon? I mean, there's probably some fiddling, but again, until we hit a wall, I don't necessarily want to change too much anymore. We need to talk about Alcoria. We still haven't fully gotten into her yet. But I'm right at the end, so I want to answer all the questions. How many achievement bonus do you get? I am not as high as I could be. I'm just shy of 10,000%. 396 out of 410. These are my in progress. We got this one on stream or the one that led up to this a couple weeks ago. Or last week, or one of those things. I've slept since then. I still need the rest of these. I could probably buy all these, but I don't care about that achievement enough to buy them all. And these are just kind of slowly but surely happening. So yeah. Next event, I'll probably have them. I'll probably have enough for 10k. Okay, so Alcoria. Let's go back to Alcoria. We have chosen her ultimate as Shield Guardian. Shield Guardian steps up behind the formation and casts Lightning Bolt. And it casts it a number of times. I believe, equal to the number of stacks of Spellcaster School you have. So let me just double check. Oh, it doesn't say. But I believe that's accurate. So we're going to pop that off and see what happens. Hold on. Let's turn off auto progress real quick. And bank all the familiars. Yeah, see, he comes out and just kind of... He's real quick in the back because we're sped up. But he kind of Iron Mans a bunch of lightning everywhere, and he should do that once for each time, for each stack of Spellcaster School. So her Spellcaster School is based off of... hold on, now I gotta get my familiars back out so we can keep making progress real quickly. Spellcaster School. Okori gains a stack of Spellcaster School for each champion with a magical base attack in the formation. Each stack increases the damage of these champions by 1 EO7 for me, based off my gear, stacking multiplicatively. So right now, we're at 8 stacks. Like I said, we only have 2 non-magical people, so it's real good. We're getting about a 3 EO9 total bonus for everyone that does magic damage, not just your DPS. It's all of those people except for our tanks right now. After that, she has Defender of Waterdeep, which does come in handy here since we are in a Waterdeep mission. Increases the damage of everyone in the formation by an amount if you're on an adventure in the Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign. Mine is over 5,000% because of my gear and feats. Feats can affect that too. I've got feats affecting Spellcaster School and Defender of Waterdeep because I haven't unlocked any of the others yet. And then Watchful Order, which is where we get WOMP. Watchful Order, Mages and Protectors. Okori provides additional buffs based on the number of Spellcaster School stacks she has. If she has 3 or more, attack speeds of champions counting towards Spellcaster School are reduced by 1.5 seconds, which is, it varies depending on what's going on. Mine is currently at 1.5 seconds. 5 or more increases the positional formation ability effects of champions counting towards Spellcaster School by 75% for each stack, so we've got a solid buff going there. 7 or more, which is where we're at. We qualify for all of these 3. Each time a champion counting towards Spellcaster School attacks, there's a 50% chance that their base attack cooldown immediately resets. So that just lets you chew through stuff even quicker. If we could build a full formation, we also then increase the base value of Spellcaster School by 600%. We can't do that, though. We don't have enough. I just can't do it, Captain. All right, so if we look over here, we are getting those first 3 with 8 stacks. So it tracks it over there as well. So she doesn't need to necessarily be anywhere specific in a formation. She just really wants you to have lots of magic users. And the more you get, the more powerful she's going to get. So if you're trying to use a gym formation and you want a super powerful gym formation, that's how you want to build it. That's what you want to build it around. You want to have at least, like, you want to get to 7, I would say. If you can get to 9, great, but that's going to take very specific formations. And not necessarily going to be viable in all variants. But yeah, if you could get all the way to 9, that's going to give you your biggest chance at a super big, powerful gym formation. I find big exploit in multi-party game. Well, submit a ticket. Submit a ticket, let them know what's going on. They're real good if you find stuff and you tell them instead of just posting it all over the internet, which is not great. So just submit a ticket and let them know what's going on. The different platforms have different achievements. I'm using Congregate and only have 403 available. Gar using Steam and have 410. No. They're all the same. What you're missing is they retired some achievements a long time ago when they revamped some of the champions. They are now called Legacy achievements. They offer you no bonuses. As you'll notice, these are 1%. They just exist. There were actually 8. I did not do Calliopes because it was the dumbest. Just outrageous time waste to try to do. Some people did it. Good for them and their patience. I could not do it. But I got all the others. So that would be 8, which could take it, which is what it could say 411. There's actually another hidden one that would, I think it would show up down here under other, kind of at the bottom. So I think there's 412 total. There's one for being like a, I don't know, something about, being a good community member or something. I think Silisa has it, and maybe 1 or 2 other people have it. But I think it shows up down here. So yeah, that's kind of the total. So if your total, like if you just don't have that available because you haven't unlocked it, the system treats it as if it doesn't exist and will show your total as less than so that you don't think you're missing out on anything. Because in fact you aren't. Those types of hidden ones don't give you any bonuses. They just show up as a total number. I know that you use chests and contracts for events. Do you use any for time gates? No, I don't. I personally can start a time gate and soft cap and get whatever I need without needing the extra gold. Technically, I could do that for events, but I stick with doing it for events just because it's a habit that I've built out and it helps me just kind of stick to things. But when I was starting, when I was had a newer account, I was trying to find the most efficient way to complete an event. And that was the most efficient way to complete an event. Time gates got added later. I just never bothered doing it for time gates because time gates have a lower favor conversion, so I was never really worried about maxing those out. Last part of stream. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're in the last half hour. Which champion do you think is the best for gold find? Krull. I'm fairly new, but using Jarlaxle both for my gold find main and my highest DPS. Yeah, Jarlaxle is going to be the best basic champion that you get in terms of both of those. He's going to be your great early DPS champion, and he will last for a while, either until you transition into Hitch or into a event champion that you pick up that's a DPS. And he has an incredible amount of gold find, but the biggest gold find champion in the game in terms of just getting the most gold to drop off of a creature is Krull. And then the next, and then just for a general play, constantly, always on. And then the other champion that will earn you the most favor, gold, and thus favor, is Azaka. But you use her in combination with all of the aforementioned. So, but yeah, right now, just when you're starting, Jarlaxle is fantastic. And early on, I don't even spec him for damage. I spec him for gold find because the more gold you get, the more damage you get early on. Really, attack cooldown reduction is item-based. I hope it's capped or she'll eclipse all other sports. Oh, no, it is. It is. A cooldown, like the ultimate cooldown reduction. Oh, you mean attack cooldown. Attack cooldown reduction. I think it has a feat, maybe? There's something that increases it because it's going up. Oh, here we go. Work in Harmony has one. Increases the base attack cooldown reduction of Watchful Order. So yeah, there's a way to make it go higher, but all basic attacks, their cooldowns are all capped by their animation speed. So you can get, you can basically break Barrowin and get a Barrowin that would be attacking every second or less than a second. But it's basically capped at, she has to wind up, do the attack, come back, instantly winds up, does an attack, and come back. You can make Barrowin just constantly be attacking. You can never get below that. And then Ishii beats that in terms of the numbers, but again, you're always capped on your attack animation speed. Is 9 stacks for Ikoria even possible with multi-tank? Once we have a magic tank, yes, but without one, no. But Tomb of Annihilation has a single tank formation that has 10 people, so you could do it over there. And technically, you could do it in multi-tank, because if it's just 2 tanks, then you would throw Turiel out there, and Turiel has a magic basic attack. So if we had wanted to swap out... I think I'm using Archon as a tank because I didn't have a Shara. That's why. Yeah, because I just don't have another magic user here to be able to swap in. So I put in Sasaspia and ran Archon as a tank. Because I didn't want Archon supporting from the back or something. That's dumb. What's worse, Calliope achievement or Brev achievement? Calliope's original achievement is worse than anything they have put in the game as an achievement ever. Or at least it was back then. I mean, the others seem like you'll get them eventually, because the gold find ones, but hers was based off unique amounts of shield she put on. And back then, we were way hundreds of levels lower in terms of cap and shield production than she is now, and shields work differently. This was all before the shielding, healing, and tanking upgrade or update. So yeah, it was just horrible. It was horrible. If you don't have the good community member achievement, then you were swindled. No, I don't remember what it's called, but it's something about that. And I think Silisa got it because she found a bunch of bugs that were huge. like Barrow infinite Barrow and hammer stacks, and since then the infinite Kroll stacking. I mean, they have earned that achievement. And others, it's like a community contribution thing. But I don't know. I'm not worried about it. It doesn't get me a bonus in game. If an event achievement is taken over by a new event achievement, does that bonus become null? I don't know what you mean by that. How would an event achievement get taken over by a new one? If you can explain that, I can try to answer the question. How to farm in time gates? The same way you farm anywhere else. I mean, you just push to your wall and farm favor, and then reset, and then do it again. The nice thing about time gates is you can do their free plays forever and ever and ever, because you're not gated by like tokens like you are in an event. So okay, I think I'm caught up again. Wonder how long it would take a Modron core team to auto through Calliope's old achievements. It wasn't so much about... So here's how people did it. You had to find a level in an adventure where your whole team was taking damage. Back then, it was just very specific variants that did that. And most people didn't stop to necessarily farm that out. And the thing is it doesn't count that she's just reapplying it over and over. They have to have lost their shield and then had one applied, and then lost it and had one applied. And what took forever was because... we just AFK'd through this, by the way, folks. It took forever because the shield amount she gave back then was so small. Like, the shields she give now are huge, which is why they changed the achievement, but back then it was tiny. Some people literally just tried to farm that one achievement, and they had to do it for like a week straight back then, and that was, I think that was before speed potions, so yeah. I think I get the achievement issue. You'll always be able to do champ achievements through time gates. Yes, that's true. I just don't know. Yeah, I didn't get really where they were going with that. That could be a me thing. Okay, so we completed the Gargoyle. We completed Mert's version of the Gargoyle. It wasn't too horrible. I didn't even have to completely optimize my formation, but I really was kind of hoping we'd run into a boss and I could just nuke it with that shield guarding again. So let's actually drop back. And we'll use the shield guardian. So with this, the boss is like, this is a hit-based creature. Oh, I need to take away all my things. So now we've got, this is an armored boss, because you see the segmented health, plus you see that shield on the armor. So now we're going to nuke it with the shield guardian and see what happens. Yeah, he just shoots his electric rays, and he's going to do like 9 of them, because there's 9 people out there. And now we're just going to file all the ults. Fire them all off. Wow, now we don't have any damage. So was I just getting through this on click damage? That might have been it. Or we got bugged somehow. Oh, my bud dropped way low. That could be it. No. We'll let it sit there. And it can do the shield guardian over and over and over again, because he's kind of cool. How do you quick remove familiars? Hold down F. To quick remove, you hold down F, and then this gets highlighted in red. You click on them, it puts them away. To put them back out again, you just click on one of the highlighted spaces, and it's going to drop them out kind of in the order that they're listed. Let's see if we can reset that so he's not so broken. No, I just had more damage, I think, before. Yeah. Yeah, so we were doing decent damage, and then now we're not, and it is what it is. We already beat it. I'm not worried about it. Fires the missiles. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is Alcoria, if this wasn't going so fast, you'd see that she's firing out, I think, 5 now? One of the things that she gets, so she starts off with 3 magic missiles, but as she upgrades, let's see if we can find one of them here. It notes for you, here we go. Increases the number of magic missiles fired by Alcoria by 1. I believe she gets 2 of those upgrades. Let's see if we can find the other one. There it is. There's another one at 1560, and that's it. So she'll do a total of 5 currently. Yeah, my bud did go down. That's what killed it off, and now I'm just not able to get through it. But I think there's something going on with this because it should be trying to eat someone, and it's not. I don't know why. So, things, when you use a lot of speed potions, things get a little buggy in the game. So whenever you run into an issue or a bug and you've been using speed potions, even if it was on a previous run, restart your client. Usually that clears it out. So I mean, a new event hero means new achievements, and if older hero will be taken out, do you lose those old achievement bonuses related to that older hero? No. They'll always be here, listed, first of all. They're always going to be here. Like the Ishis are here. They will always remain here. You will always be able to get those achievements because you will always be able to recruit Ishi through a time gate. You'll be able to do all the variants through the time gate because the time gate gives you one random variant each time. And if you've done none of them, then it gives you one that you haven't done. And the next time it gives you one of the two that you haven't done. And then the next time it gives you the last one you haven't done. And then after that, it's just random. So you can get that achievement that way. You can get gear in all kinds of ways that have nothing to do with events for champions. And then this very specific one that's for her, about what she has to be done. That can be done in any adventure or variant anywhere. This isn't restricted to the event. What sometimes people, the only thing that's restricted to an event is this, which was people refer to as her achievement, but it's not. It's the event's achievement for getting to 175 in the event, because it can be in any free play. So it may have arrived with her, but it isn't linked to her. None of these are. So you'll be able to get these in any event going for any one of these events going forward. So a Garen's Day will always let you get those achievements. So none of the achievements going away. The bonuses will always be there because you can always get the characters and you'll always be able to get their achievements. Broken boss is broken. Yeah, I broke it, folks. He's broken. I turned Auto Polaris off on purpose this time. I wanted to sit here and watch Alcoria fire this off. What we'll actually do, since the cooldown timer is coming up, well, it would have reset anyway with this, but I have 100 exactly. We're gonna swap her over, and we'll look at Urchin Pranks. So again, these are going to show up in the back row here, and we'll get Jinx, Squidly, and Nat in the back, and they're going to have something in their hands, and they're just going to start chucking it at the boss. This boss doesn't move, it sits in place, but normally it would stun a boss or stun an enemy and move it back with each time it gets hit, but we'll show that off. See how they're like throwing rotten fruit? It goes real quick because we're on 10x speed, but that one's pretty cool too. That one's like, I think that one's really kind of their crowd control one. So if you need crowd control for something, you're going to pick that ultimate via the specialization. If you just want damage, all the damage, and you have a lot of magic-based champions, then you're going to pick Shield Guardian. It says complete because I finished it. I completed everything. I mean, we completed this mission. We already passed 500. So we got up to like 507. I just wanted to look at the boss again, but we can move forward. Now you can Azaka farm it. Ooh. Bugged like that you could. Well, the problem with I wouldn't want to do it here because I can't use Krull, so it'd kind of be a waste. Kind of be a waste. I don't Azaka farm anything I can't Krull. Very skeptical of it working like that. I've done 2 Stokie time gates fully completed. I'm still 0-3 on event progress. That's a visual bug, Damon Black. If you submit a ticket, they should be able to get you the credit. Hopefully they'll get that specific bug fixed before year 4 shows up, but that is how it works. They've talked about it repeatedly. So it should just be a visual bug. What actually makes that trigger for sure is when their event does come around, if they were available and you did the variant you were missing, it would auto credit you for all 3. And that's how I know it's a visual bug, because it is tracking that you did the others. It just isn't showing you that you've done them. So yeah, submit a ticket. Anytime something doesn't work like that, submit a ticket, but that's how it's supposed to work. Yeah. But yeah, sometimes you get bugs like that, and I try to say always, like, don't even ask if something is a bug. I never ask if something is a bug. Usually I just kind of look at it and I go, is that how it's supposed to work? If it doesn't feel like it's supposed to work that way, then I submit a bug report. And I just go, this feels weird. I don't know if this is a bug or if this is just weird. And then they'll let me know if it's a bug or if it's weird. Is it just Stokey? I don't have that issue. It might be a Stokey bug. Yeah, who knows? I don't know if it's happening for everybody when they do time gates or if it's just on Stokey time gates. Okay, so somebody asked how my pipe game is going, so let's take a look over there again. So it's going pretty well. We only have about 10 minutes left, so... And they respond with, Gar, you're just weird. You're not wrong. I think I got one. I almost have to look it up. Sean was like, well, did you put all the champions in, level them up, and then take the familiars out because my familiars weren't coming in or something? And I'm like, and do my save formation, and I'm like, Sean, why would I do that? He's like, I don't know. I just had to ask. Yeah, they gotta rule all the things out. So I always start off my tickets with, I'm not sure if this is a bug. I mean, yeah, because early on, we were getting founders that were answering the bugs before Sean was here, right? So the company founders were the ones answering the bug reports, and I would just put stuff in and be like, is this working right? I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's working right. And then they would just explain how it's supposed to work. So I learned a lot about the game back then just from submitting tickets. So this is my pipe game. It is all epic, except that it's hooked up to, except for this one, because it's just super difficult to get an epic right there. With the pipes that I had, it wasn't possible, but I have more pipes now, so I'm probably going to dismantle this whole thing either this weekend for fun or Tuesday on my channel for my Idle Chatter stream and rebuild it, because what I'd really like to do is kind of take these buffs and put them all into one thing through here and then come back up the side and split to then power this and dump the flow out here. And I may have the pipes for that now. So we'll see. We'll see. I may wait till Tuesday, because then I'll have gotten probably a level 9 reward. So I'll have another chest from that, and then I'll get the 3 patron chests. So I'll probably do it Tuesday. Strongly worded ticket. Yeah, no, I sent Sean a strongly worded ticket once. He knows. Time gate choice. Regis, Dinar, and Black Viper. Who would y'all recommend? I think we've been saying either Regis or Dinar, basically. They're both good for different reasons, so I don't think you can really go wrong in that sense between one of those two. Why are you skipping the 100% boost in the top right? Because I don't need it, Dave. I'm fully epic purple. Why do I have to go through that boost? Once I get 10 and I need to do more stuff up here, and I have to split to get, up here, then I'll probably go through the pipe and then split. But before then, I have no reason to. I literally took out buff pipes that I didn't need, because before it was all dark purple, and then I was like, how low can I get it? And I can get it down to 4.02 here. That was the lowest I could get. So, and still have everything be epic. So until they add like an overflow buff, which they had talked about. There was a bug early on where there was an overflow that you got more power the more flow you put into your buffs. But that was a bug. That's removed. But they did talk about on stream once, maybe adding in a thing where when you get to a certain point, it kicks in a buff and then you can get higher. But they haven't put that in yet as far as I know. At that point, then yeah, then we'll definitely overflow everything. But if you do it on Tuesday, can you write the pipes off on your taxes? It's funny that you mentioned that. If I did itemize my taxes, which I may have to start doing after this year, now that I'm streaming and making money off streaming, technically all the games you buy and all the money you spend on games can then be written off, because that's, as long as you're playing those games on your stream as part of your job, then you totally can. I have friends. I have lots of friends who work in the games industry, and they write off all their consoles, all their games, anything that's even remotely related to gaming, all the money that they spend. And their companies usually have, like a lot of the bigger companies, give you stipends to spend specifically on games, so that you can go out and play and kind of be immersed in what's in the thing that you're doing. So Yes, there is a free time gate this weekend. We did not talk about that. What is my free time gate? So free time. Oh, I should probably do this. It is a free time gate. This is what people call a natural time gate. Your time gate is up here. It's a little arch. Click that. You'll come here. If you were on the campaign screen, you would just click the blue thing over here on the left. And you don't have to spend any of your pizza. You just get to click this. Mine, it's because it's free, it's random as to who you get. You can't just choose anyone. So mine are Turiel, Rosie, and Spurt. They're all epic for me, and I know I have all their lower level items, so it doesn't matter. Then I look at item level. So item level for Turiel is 61, Rosie at 62, Spurt it's 151. So I'm probably going to go do Turiel just because he's one item level lower than Rosie. So why not? And then next week, we have another content drop on Wednesday, and then another free time gate on Friday. So, man, not only do we get lots of time gate, we got Alcoria this week. You get a free champion from a time gate this weekend, and another free champion next weekend. So there's 3 more champions if you were at a higher level and didn't already have them all. And then after that, we'll have another event. Yeah, new games are considered research. Well, playing other games are both research and professional development, but also just staying up to date in your industry. Yeah. Can you, Mr. Gaarawarr, can you tell me what this 10,275 Modron chest write-off is all about? Sure, let me break it down. I would probably end up, if I were having to explain that to an IRS tax agent, I'd probably end up getting them hooked on the game because math and numbers, right? Let's see. So how do the time gates work? Do you only have that champion for a limited time? No, you get to keep them forever. It's like an event. It's a mini version of event that they introduced way back in the day, because originally events were the only way you got to unlock champions. And then you had to wait a year to unlock that champion again. And that was not fantastic. So time gates were this, fiddly magic wavy thing that they let you access and go back in time to get, one of 3 champions. You get 3 days to complete it. There's 3 variants there's 2 adventures and 1 variant that you have to complete. The first adventure will unlock that champion and give you a gold chest. The second one will give you a gold chest, and then the variant gives you a gold chest. And then for each 100 levels you get, so 100, 200, 300, 400, you get a silver chest. So it's just a way to unlock a champion permanently and get gear for them. Why time gate next week, not new event? Because they are adding another. This is their fix for the leap year, right? Because they have, and usually an event is every 3 weeks, and there's 52 weeks in a year, so there's 17 events, which is 51 weeks. So they always had a leftover week. So this year they're giving us extra content instead of just moving it forward. So you get another. So next week is Sword Coast. Episode, I don't, 12 maybe? I can't remember how deep they're in. 24, 37? It's something in Sword Coast next week. And they said on Griddle Champions today, we're going into the Underdark. Like there's Driders. Driders are going to be in the game for the first time ever. So yeah, that's going to be neat. Yeah. Oh, what else changed? Oh, hey. Normally, I'm like, hey, it's the end of the show, which it is, because we've got like 2 minutes left. This is the end of the Idle Champions content for the week, but this week it's not. Everybody mark your calendars, like mine is marked. Tomorrow, for the first time ever, Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific, Mars's Guiding Hand will be streaming for the next 4 weeks. So join your favorite storyteller and mine, Mars, on now Saturday mornings. I have to set my alarm to make sure I'm awake. But I will be there in chat, so I hope you are too. And then it will be the end of Idle Champion content for the week. And we'll be back next week. If you like hanging out with me for Idle Champions, I do stream Idle Champions usually Tuesdays at noon Pacific. It's all Pacific time, CNE times. For about an hour, and I'll probably be doing my pipes on Tuesday, and then Bardic Inspiration is after that. And then since Mars moved temporarily to Saturdays, I will be doing another Idle Champion stream on my channel on Wednesdays, so you can come ask questions there if you have any. But otherwise, you can follow me on Twitter at Gaarawarr. You can follow me on Twitch at Gaarawarr. I stream lately RPG streams at night. We're playing through Divinity Original Sin 2. That we'll be doing some more of that tonight. We ended very quickly yesterday because I had to go guest on the Idle Champions dev stream. But we fought a fight after... Oh, no, I'm not even going into what just happened in that stream. That's probably not okay for this stream. Divinity Original Sin 2 is a weird game, folks. Super weird. But I'll be playing more of that later on tonight, if you're into that. Otherwise, do you get silver chests on the level 50 time gate? In time gates, that's not how silver chests work. You don't get silver chests from free plays. You have to complete 100 levels. Every 100 level, like once at 100, once at 200, once at 300, once at 400, depending on how far you can push. That's how you get silver chests in a time gate. Otherwise, you just get the gold chests, guaranteed gold chests from the adventures. But that is all, folks. So wrapping up, thank you to all of you. Thank you to Codename Entertainment for letting me do this, asking me to do this, and then continuing to let me, even though I say crazy stuff and talk bad about Krull all the time. So I will see you either tonight on my stream for more Divinity, or I will see you tomorrow in Mars's stream for some Mars's Guiding Hand. So thanks, everybody. Bye.